Hey, what's up all you do-it-yourselfers? My name's Dylan Taylor and this is Dylan's DIY Workshop. Today I'm going to be reviewing a new wood burner that I found. It's also kind of entry-level and cheap-ish. So I'm going to do the most comprehensive review that I can based on the things that I know about wood burning, and I'll compare it to this other wood burner that I have, and there will be a link in the description to where you can get this one. And also this razor tip wood burner that I use frequently now. This is the Mastercraft wood burning kit. I saw it and I thought, okay, I can do a review on this. It was 40 bucks Canadian. I don't know if you can get it anywhere other than Canadian Tire. So the first part of this review would be the packaging, and this sucks. This is that stupid packaging that you use a pair of scissors and you end up cutting yourself with the plastic, and there's no nice way of opening it, and there's no nice box to put it back in. The packaging sucks. I don't like the packaging. Already not liking this. Can you open it with a dull knife? No. I hate these packages. Wish nothing was ever packaged in them. Ta-da-ta. So stupid. We got a little bit of an instruction manual here. A bunch of tips. Comes with 7 tips. This red one that I got here, the basic wood burner, the first one I ever had, it only had 1 tip that came with it, which I found to be completely fine, actually. They just unscrew just like that, and you can screw the other one in. Now, one thing you guys gotta keep in mind when you're doing that is you have to let it cool down completely to the touch where you can hold on to it like this. I had one of my viewers tell me an issue that they had, and they hadn't let it cool down all the way. They went to unscrew it and it snapped off. The thread stayed in and then the piece came off, so they ended up having to drill out the little bit that was still left in there, which sucks. So let's pick a bit. You know what, I'm gonna stick with this, the one that came on it. It's like the Skew chisel. It's the one that all wood burners basically have. So we'll screw that all the way back down in there tight, and we'll plug this in. So we'll see about how long this takes to heat up. It's been plugged in for 2 or 3 seconds and it's too hot to touch, which is good. Very good. The other red one that you plug in, it takes a couple minutes before it heats up. We'll see how long this one takes. But it's been 20 seconds or so. We'll see if it'll burn pine. Absolutely not. So we'll just sit here and wait. It comes with this little fancy doodad thingamabob, and it's so that you can set it down like this. Ooh, how fancy. There's no point, I mean, unless you want it to be able to roll off and land on something. It's got this hexagonal pattern. You can see it easier on this one. Do you see that? When you look down at them, you can't see it on this one, but when you set it down, it lays flat on one of those faces. The heat sinks are in the air and it's not doing anything. So I always just set mine down like that. My other wood burner came with one of these. I never used it. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to heat up, why don't we go through some of the specifications. So its temperature goes to 499 degrees Celsius or 930 degrees Fahrenheit, which I believe is about the same as this wood burner. This one might go hotter. I think this one goes hotter. Whereas this one goes to like 1400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 600 or 700 degrees Celsius. Definitely way hotter. Razor tip is definitely going to be way better than this, but I'm looking at this from a cheap point of view, and what you guys might be able to afford as an entry level if you don't know whether you want a wood burner or not. This has been about 2 minutes. Okay, so it's hot after 2 minutes. We're good there. 30 watts is what it runs on, which isn't that bad. So here I've got all these different kinds of woods. They're all just different pieces that are the same size, different types of wood, and I did a video on what kind of wood is the best to wood burn on. Check that out. There will be a card right here to click on. So I'm just going to grab a couple pieces of wood here, just the basic ones, just to see how well this burns. So I'm just going to use the backs of these pieces because I still have to use them for another video. So I'll just take this and wood burn a line sideways. Holy wow, pine. Jeez, that's got a lot of heat in it. Whew. You know, it keeps its heat pretty well. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Now, for how sharp of a line it can make, if you want to shade. Now that's the thing, because this is only one temperature. It's not variable temperature like that razor tip. If you want to shade, we want to go from that line to an imaginary line. We'd want to go dark to light. So we'll try to shade. And it's terrible at shading. Okay. So not good at shading. That was pine, so let's try it on just this maple. So maple is very nice to wood burn on, and that tip is glowing red. That's intense. All right. Okay, so it's got enough heat to burn the maple, but it doesn't slide very nice on the maple at all. Yeah, so it doesn't slide super nice. It's got a lot of heat to it, and if you wanted to burn a big area pretty fast, I'd say this might do it. It's pretty blotchy. Now that's weird. Let's try this other. Okay, so it looks like we got two different angles on this skew, almost. Okay. Now, wow. Ow, ow, okay. Try to draw a line. Curve the line? Yeah, pretty well. And it's got a lot of heat, so like I'm just going right through this. The other redwood burner isn't this nice for heat-wise, so I guess this goes hotter. Very great for making lines, this tip. Very great. Doing little points, maybe. Now it's came loose. This is not good. Okay, we'll unplug it and let it cool down here. The tip actually came loose, which isn't good. You don't want that, because you don't want it to break on you while you're using it. It's hot enough to burn maple, which is good. For control-wise, it's about the same as the other one, where you hold on to it. So you hold on to this one right here, which is a certain number of inches away from the tip. You hold on to this one right here, and it's about the same distance away from the tip, which sucks. It sucks. When you hold on to a razor tip pen from a pyrography system, it's like you're right here. You're holding on to this shiny part. You're right there is where your fingers are. So you have a lot more control over it. Okay, so this is unfortunately, it's keeping its heat for a long time, which is what we don't want. You want it to cool down much faster than this. But there's nothing you can do but wait. Okay, so this is aggravating. I haven't actually changed the tip yet. I'm still waiting for it to cool down. It's been several minutes, and it's still burning the wood. And I know that it's not cooled down enough to touch. Like, you can feel the radiant heat coming off of it, which sucks. With the razor tip system, with this one, it comes with cords that plug into that box and then plug into the bottom of a little pen. And with that, even if you only have the standard one-piece model where it only has the one line coming off of it, even if that's all you have, you don't have the double one like I do, it's still as simple as unplug the pen, set it down, and it's cooling down on its own when you plug in the next pen and keep working. So if you want to change tips, super fast, super easy. And if you have the double model like me, you got two plugged in and all you do is hit a switch and then you're on to the other one. Whereas this, you have to sit here for 5, 6, 7 minutes and wait for it to cool down. It's still too hot to touch, which sucks. Definitely too hot. Way too hot. But I'm just going to play with the bear. Okay, so the only reason I'm doing this is because it was already loose and I know I didn't need to put any pressure on it, which is kind of dumb. Like, it shouldn't have ever came loose in the first place. I got it as tight as I could with my fingers. What I'm going to use now is this little tiny detail bit. I'm going to see what it actually does. And I'm going to go through all the bits, so I'm going to just quickly do that and show you guys what we come up with. Hopefully I can screw this in before it gets... Okay, we're in. And we're plugging. One nice feature about this is it's got this fake leather pattern, whatever material that is. It's got that. It's nice and feely, not grippy, but it's comfortable. It's comfortable even though it's not as nice to use a soldering iron style wood burner as it is to use like a pyrography system type wood burner. So I got this plugged in again, just wait for it to heat up. That's one of the sucky things about having one that's not variable temperature and doesn't have a switch. You have to plug it in and unplug it all the time, which is kind of frustrating. I'll show you guys all the different tips that came with it. So you saw that skew one. There's this little pin shaped one. This one right here, it's, I'm assuming for stamping things. I've never even used something like this. It'll be interesting. Maybe that's all this wood burner is good for me. Same with this. It's another funky looking pattern. And these look like they're just made a little, these honestly look like they're made of brass. And I'm thinking all I have to do is machine this thread myself, and I have access to a machine shop. If I could do that, I could make my own tips and get different shapes. I don't know what other shapes I would use. This looks like it's been carved on a CNC. Got this right here. That's the flat chisel bit, and that's what the redwood burner has. The very first one I ever used. This right here We'll figure out what it does. And then we got this pointed bit right here. So it's just a little bit bigger than this other one that we're using, and I'm going to test it out now that we're hot enough. So it got hotter faster this time, and I'm assuming it's because it was already on. So we'll figure out what this does. I could see this being really useful for calligraphy, this tip. Yeah, you know what? I've never had a ballpoint tip like that. Okay, here's something to watch out for. This big round shaft here, if I'm not steep enough with this, if I'm down here where I would normally be writing, it touches the surface before the tip does. And you see how it left that big mark right there? We'll do it again. So we put the tip down, and sometimes it doesn't even touch. That's where you need to watch out, I guess, when you're using this. You want to definitely make sure you test out every tip and figure out how it works before you do it on a finished piece. This is working fairly well. Like I said, maybe calligraphy. Maybe if I was signing my name. See, it's not staying hot enough for me to move fast. So that's one thing that sucks. The razor tip gets super hot. It stays hot, almost too hot sometimes. If I could have this tip on the razor tip, it'd be amazing. This is not working. So that was me trying to sign my name. And it's there. It's definitely there. Don't get me wrong. Like, this is not a terrible machine. Just understand that I'm using like a $400 wood burner most of the time. It's just not quite as good as the razor tip is what I'm saying. So I'll let it cool down and try another tip. Great, we have returned. I'm trying this bit right here with the circle, and so far I tried it. It was kind of funky, but it wasn't heated up all the way. It's bent on an angle, which sucks. So it's not perfectly flat. You gotta figure out where flat is, and that's the way that you got to put it on there. So it gives you this little bullseye pattern, and I don't know what exactly you could use it for. I'm sure you could use it for a pattern on something if you wanted to do large areas, or if you wanted to do some funky patterns where you drew a line and another line and these went inside of it. That would be cool. I noticed that if you grab it like this and you roll it around, you can get a fairly nice circle. That didn't stay in one spot. So if you do this, a perfect circle right up here. I guess maybe you can make bubbles like this. So if you wanted to draw some bubbles, there you go. And then you put your little, I don't know, whatever shape you call it, to make it look like it's round in 3D. So this tip is actually maybe useful. Okay, so I am very upset with how ridiculously long this takes to cool down. So for that reason, I don't know whether I would get this myself again. For a beginner, though, I think it might still be okay. Now, it is kind of nice to have those different tips, and you can do funky patterns. However, to do a regular wood burning where you're drawing the image out with either a pencil by hand or you're tracing it with graphite paper, if you're doing that, all you really need is this one tip, and it's the Skew Tip. And honestly, I don't think you need the other ones. So I would say this wood burner would absolutely do it for you guys. And I will put a link to that in the description. The only thing this has over top of that one is the fact that it has a couple different tips. I honestly don't think that for a very beginner, it would be super useful. My review on this, in conclusion, would be that if you don't have a wood burner, but you have a Canadian Tire near you, and you don't like buying things online, get this one. If not, go online and order yourself either the one that I had first because it just works, or get yourself a pyrography system. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. That is going to way one-up this. Not one-up, it's going to like a million up this. Pyrography systems are just way better. Like I showed you, the box one that you have the pens. Honestly, I think that if you're going to be serious about wood burning, you want to do some bigger projects, or you have a disposable income, don't even think about buying anything like this at all. Go straight to a pyrography system like the razor tip. I'm not saying that this is the only system there is out there. There's a lot of other ones, a lot of other companies that make similar things, and it's all basically the same thing. It's the same as these two are basically the same thing. The only thing this doesn't have is the tips. So if you're gonna get one, it really doesn't matter. This one was $40 and this one came in a box set with a lot of pieces of wood and pictures and the carbon paper. It was also $40. So it comes with other things. This comes with tips that I don't see useful for a beginner. I might use these tips I probably won't. I'll probably just keep doing what I'm doing. As for ease of burning, it's kind of okay. It loses its heat pretty fast, but that's the same as the other one. The only real way to do that is to get a pyrography system. I don't really know how to do reviews super well, but I know quite a bit about wood burning, and I know that this is a decent wood burner. I think that just this soldering iron style wood burner, out of all the ones that I've used, they're all virtually the same until you have one that's variable temperature. I have not used one of those yet. I only have the pyrography system. I jumped from crawling to running is the jump I made. I didn't get one of these that had a variable temperature. I would say that those are better. You'd be able to shade because you could turn the temperature way down. When you can turn the temperature way down, you can get a very light tone, and then you can hold longer for a darker tone. Variable temperature, much better. However, for entry level, this will do. Any soldering iron style one will do. The tips just add to all the different cool things you can do. From what I know using this so far today, it'll do all the things that the other one will do, and it has different tips. So get that one if you just don't want to spend the $200, $300, $400 on a pyrography system. But do realize that this will be discouraging. The pyrography system is easy to use no matter what. This will be temperamental at best of time. The other system will just work, and it gets really hot. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you learned something new. Maybe you have some suggestions for how I could have made this video better. If you guys like wood burning videos and you want to see more, the best way to help support this and support me being able to afford to get these things, because I don't really make much money on YouTube, the best way to support me to be able to see more videos like this so that I can review all kinds of wood burners would be to support me on Patreon. There is a link to my Patreon right at the bottom of this video, right in the description, and I'll put a card right here. Please check that out and consider supporting me at the very lowest level, the $2 a month level. You guys get access to all of my uploads early, at least a day early. You guys get to see the uploads before anyone else, so you get to be first-hand viewers. Alright guys, we'll see you guys on next time. Peace out.